The Chargers come into tonight at 9-3, and in this year of crazy playoff possibilities, they have a very simple formula. They win tonight, and they win the AFC Western Division, and they can play their last 3 games worrying about home field advantage. Going against the Raiders, it will not be that easy. They are 6-6. This is a desperate team, and a team that's picked by many at the beginning of the season to go all the way to the Super Bowl. They are a talent-laden team, and Al, you have to wonder if maybe some of the players, some of the management, they've got to be a little concerned what happened along the way.
They're a hard team to figure, Frank. When the season began, they had no running game. Now they've got a fairly decent one with Harvey Williams. But the passing game has been a major disappointment. This is a team with people like Rocket Ismail, Alexander Wright, James Jett, Tim Brown. They can't seem to get the ball downfield. And their quarterback, Jeff Hostetler, is coming off a concussion he sustained last week in the game against Pittsburgh. They'll keep a close eye on him. Defensively, they've been playing okay, but in crunch time, they haven't. In the fourth quarter of the season, the Raiders have been outscored 98-49. It's as simple as this. Win tonight, and they're back on track toward the playoffs with a mark of 7-6 and 2 of their last 3 at home. Lose tonight, and this team might as well start thinking about 1995. And Dan, here in San Diego with an electric crowd, they go against the Chargers, a team in their first meeting this season. The game won in Los Angeles by the Chargers 26-24. Great crowd here tonight. A much anticipated game. Anytime the Raiders come to San Diego, it's a much anticipated game, and especially on a Monday night. Andre Coleman, a good-looking rookie kick returner, averaging 26 yards to run back. Jeff Jaeger to put it in the air, and the game is underway in San Diego. It floats down to the 11-yard line, and Andre Coleman brings it back to the 29-yard line. Stan Humphries, who's had a good deal of success when he's been healthy. And he's coming off surgery on his left elbow, his non-throwing elbow, but he hasn't missed a beat. Natron Means, the great second-year back. Jefferson and Say are the wideouts, and they use a double tight end set with Young and a rookie Shannon Mitchell. Swain, Kakuzu, Courtney Hall, one of the very best. Malinchik and Stan Brock, the longtime New Orleans Saint, at right tackle. First down from the 29-yard line, and it's Natron Means, who packs about 250 pounds, picking up 5. Up to the 34, Greg Biekert makes the stop. Good-looking front 4. Harrison, the mammoth tackles Ball and McLaughlin. McLaughlin, a rising star, and Anthony Smith on the outside. Fredrickson is a rookie out of Michigan State. Biekert in the middle, and Winston Moss. Terry McDaniel having another Pro Bowl type of season, 7 picks. Albert Lewis on the other side. Patrick Bates and Eddie Anderson are the hard-hitting safeties. 2nd and 5, and Humphries to throw for the first time tonight, and it's incomplete, intended for Sean Jefferson. A little behind him. The pressure was put on Stan, and it will be 3rd down and 5.
Pressure forcing Stan Humphries to throw that ball away. And this is what the Raiders hope they can do, is pressure Humphries. He is very patient, but he likes to every now and then just take his time, unleash one far downfield, and Chester McLaughlin in there on the pressure. And Al mentioned he is one of the great ones already in this game.
3rd and 5. They normally look for Ronnie Harmon here. And the ball is knocked down as Humphries has it knocked away by Alberto White, who comes in pass rush situations to do exactly what he just did.
Normally you see a guy bat a pass, it's because he's a long way away from the quarterback. That time Alberto White just collapsed the pocket and was only about a foot away from Stan Humphries when he blocked that ball. What a fine pass rush by the Raiders to get this game started.
Tim Brown averaging 13.2 yards on punt run backs. The league average is about 9. And Brian Wagner just does get it away. And it's a short kick that gets down inside the 40-yard line. The pressure was put on by Albert Lewis, who was a kick block specialist, as well as a great corner for years in Kansas City. And there's a flag down back at the 29-yard line. Jerry Austin is tonight's referee.
Flag right at the line of scrimmage.
After the kick was made, personal foul. Grabbing a face mask and pulling the player, number 40 of the defense. 15-yard penalty, first down.
And so it begins. The Raiders much penalized. Historically, they've been much penalized, but again, they're leading the league.
Carrie Brabham with the penalty, and Jeff Hostetler makes the start now for the Raiders. And with that concussion last week, a very close eye will be kept on him. Harvey Williams and the ex-49er Rathman in the backfield. Wright and Brown, the wideouts, and Andrew Glover, the tight end. They're trying to go to him more. Now, this figured to be a great offensive line when the year began, but they have been very ordinary this season. Perry, Wisniewski, Mosbar, Gogan, the former Cowboy, and Strepanak.
Yeah, they've given up 37 sacks on the season. There is Napoleon McCallum, who's on the Raiders sideline tonight. Al had a chance to visit with him, and we'll be hearing from him at halftime today. A very poignant and touching story.
He had that horrific injury on opening night against the 49ers. The Raiders love to go long on their first offensive play, and they find Alexander Wright, who beats the secondary and scores. The Raiders do that so much it rarely fools the defense. It's been very common for the Raiders on their first play to go deep to soften up the defense. Most teams look for it, but Wright gets free, and the Raiders score.
Dwayne Harper and Stanley Richard boxed it up somewhere. They were both back there in double coverage. Harper had the outside. Richard, there's Harper, number 28. Now he's staying to the outside right where he should be. Now he should get help on the inside from Richard. And for some reason, Richard took the man going to the outside. Something amiss in the secondary, and it pays off. 6 big points for the Raiders.
It was a play action, but still, for Stanley Richard to bite that much and be that far out of the play, inexcusable.
Jeff Jager for the point after. That was only the 11th catch of the season for Wright, a burner who's averaging less than a catch a game. 76 yards, Hostetler to Wright, and a minute 10 into the game, the Raiders lead it 7-0. They're getting together, and that's what happens after you give up a 76-yard touchdown.
I did
pass.
what? You did what? This is no social meeting here. This is these guys trying to figure out how they could have possibly blown the first play of the game, and that guy Alexander Wright, what a way to get this thing started for the Raiders.
Yeah, you give him an inch. He twice been the fastest man in this game in the fastest man contest.
Jeff Jager kicking off again. Andre Coleman, the rookie from Kansas State, will return his second kick, this time from the 18, and actually that's Ronnie Harmon who takes the kick back to the 37-yard line as we go back and have another look at the opening score.
All right, here's Alexander Wright right here. Here's Harper, and then back in the back, here's Stanley Richard. Now let's roll this thing, and we'll get him up here down the field a little bit. All right, guys, if we freeze it right around here. Watch right here. Watch Stanley Richard. He gets caught up on this guy, comes across, and then the break into the middle, and Alexander Wright is wide open. And Stanley Richard, to this moment, doesn't even realize that the ball is in the air on its way to Alexander Wright.
And no question that Dwayne Harper expected that help from the inside. He didn't get it.
Oh, totally. The deep middle belongs to Stanley Richard. And you could see when the ball was halfway down the field, he still was running upfield. He wasn't even aware that the ball had been launched.
Chargers now from the 37. Their first possession was 3 and out. Stan Humphries on a draw. Natron Means looking for room and picks up 2 up to the 39-yard line. Rob Fredrickson and Eddie Anderson converge on the tackle.
You know, guys, there just aren't ways to put it into words big enough to describe what that means to the Raiders. They have really been struggling offensively. Last week, they are manhandled by the Pittsburgh Steelers, only scoring 3 points, only like 175 yards in total offense. And what a confidence booster to get started that way.
2nd down and 8 from the 39-yard line. Flag. Humphries throws. The catch is made up at the 41 by Alfred Papuno. Short gain, but a marker down at the inception of the play at the line of scrimmage.
Papuno has missed a couple of weeks with a knee, and they are happy to have him back.
Offside, number 91, lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards. Repeat, 2nd down.
Well, shall we count them tonight? They had 111 coming in, penalties that is.
Well, talking to Carl Mock, the offensive line coach of the Chargers, he was going to the officials before the game and talking about the fact that he thinks that Chester McLaughlin and the Jerry Ball line up in the neutral zone a lot. So there's where a little work ahead of time pays off. by a coaching staff complaining. McLaughlin, number 91, one of the fine defensive tackles in the game. He is a force.
2nd down and 3, and there's another flag as Natron Means takes it out to the 46-yard line. Greg Biekert makes the stop, and the Raiders are indicating it should be a hold against San Diego.
Offside.
Might be the same
Number
thing.
93. Lined up in the neutral zone.
Yeah, it's the same
5
thing.
yards.
He was lined up again.
Well, Karl Mock ought to get a bonus here right off the bat for talking this thing up. The two coaches, Bobby Ross on the left, Art Shell on the right, and it won't really inhibit a defensive lineman. He's really just got to slide back an inch or two. Now, Jerry Ball is the helmet that is the farthest one forward.
He can't be over that ball, and he is.
Your helmet cannot be in that neutral zone. I'm not so sure that he wasn't hurt by just having his helmet a couple inches farther out than the rest of his defensive line mates, and there they go offside.
He's off again.
2 flags this time, and Humphreys is going deep, and it's short at the 10-yard line. Good coverage that time. Sean Jefferson.
I think that was
by Albert Lewis.
Maybe it did bother him, Dan.
Yeah, that was Jerry Ball. There's Karl Mock.
Offside. Number 93.
3 straight.
5 yards. It's their first down.
That's amazing. That's already 4 penalties against the Raiders.
I can't remember the last time I saw 3 consecutive. This is where he actually gets drawn off by Stan Humphries' hard count. He was not lined up in the neutral zone. He flinched and fell into the zone.
Well, after you've been called twice, I think you would be a little more cautious. He wasn't.
Well, the Raiders seldom lose that battle. 4 for the Raiders, none for the Chargers.
Raiders have been averaging about 8 penalties a game, so they're halfway home already. Natron Means to the 45-yard line. Greg Biekert makes the tackle. 12:10 to go in the first quarter. If you're just picking us up on a 76-yard pass from Hostetler to Wright, it's 7-0. The Raiders last year, second most in NFL history, 148 penalties, and coming into tonight's game, they're on a pace to equal that mark.
Well, the record's 149, so they're making a run 2 years in a row. Lofty ambitions, I guess.
Much to their head coaches.
He can't figure it out.
Record was set by the Oilers in 1989. On 2nd and 3, Means goes next to nowhere, finding trouble probing the middle. Eddie Anderson comes up to support, and there's another flag because Nolan Harrison delivers an elbow.
He dropped Stan Brock, and there's no way. Well, that's going to be 5 penalties. You can't hit a guy out in front of everybody like that.
Even if you're hitting back, you
15
can't.
yards. First down.
There's Anthony Smith, who threw the second one. I believe Nolan Harrison was the guy who gets called. Harrison 74, Smith is 94. That was quite a right cross. George Foreman would be proud of this one. All right, watch the right side of your screen. Brock is getting up there, 67. Oh, he comes over and gives a little shot inside. And that's a retaliatory blow by Nolan Harrison. Unfortunately, the first one happens all the time. The second one in front of everybody is automatic.
And it always happens like that. Every time you're the second man to deliver the blow, you're going to get the flag.
Well, this is
what it takes is a little self-discipline, and Raiders have a strong lacking in that.
First down, San Diego at the 29. 2 first downs on this drive, each by penalty, and Humphreys finds the open man, Jefferson for the touchdown.
Oh boy.
Beautiful pump fake by
Bates playing in place of the injured Derek Hoskins, who's in uniform, but Bates gets the start tonight. Carney now for the point after to tie it. And we played only 3 minutes, 51 seconds, but what a wild beginning in San Diego. Raiders 7, Chargers 7.
Bates brought it all the way, and wide open is John Jefferson.
Well, at least there wasn't a penalty on the play.
And as the LA Chargers, and played in the Coliseum in 60, and then they came south.
And these uniforms they're wearing tonight are circa 1961.
Some think they ought to go south.
Rocket Ismail takes the Carney kickoff from the 11-yard line, and he brings it back to the 25, where he's met by a host of Chargers led by Eric Castle. ABC's Monday Night Football night, but no rain today. Perfect night. Capacity crowd and Harvey Williams. Takes it up to the 30-yard line. We looked at the Raiders offensively. Now San Diego defensively. And they play a base 4-3. Mims having a fine year. Lee, Reuben Davis, the huge former Cardinal, and Leslie O'Neal having another terrific season. Griggs, Gibson, and Junior Seau, one of the very best. They normally stack them behind a defensive tackle. Gordon and Harper on the corners. Carrington and Richard are the safeties. And Stanley, of course, has already been very instrumental in the game tonight as he was burned by Wright on the touchdown pass. Hostetler on 2nd and 5. Stepping up. Throws just before he gets to the line of scrimmage, and the catch is made by Tim Brown, their leading receiver. That's his 67th catch of the season. Dennis Gibson makes the stop. First down, L.A.
Dan talked about the number of sacks the Raiders have given up. Here's Tim Brown. He complained not only in a quiet way, because that's his manner last week, that he was not used as he should have been used. And of course, he is a great receiver, but the offensive line have given up 28 sacks on Jeff Hostetler. Now, he is a very mobile quarterback. That is a lot of sacks for a quarterback like Jeff Hostetler, and he has paid the price.
1st and 10 at the 40-yard line. The game tied at 7, and Harvey Williams, who appeared to be stopped behind the line of scrimmage, gets it out to the 44. Leslie O'Neal makes the tackle. You know, the funny thing about Tim Brown, he's complaining about not getting the ball enough, but he has made 31 more catches than their second leading receiver.
66 receptions coming into tonight, having a big year.
Guys, check out Junior Seau and the collision he's going to have with Tom Rathman. He comes on a run blitz here. Right there, he's met by Tom Rathman. That's a good job by Rathman of taking on one of the best linebackers in the game in his own backfield like that. That's a lot earlier than Tom would have liked to have done it.
On 2nd and 6, Harvey Williams on a draw that doesn't fool anybody. It'll be 3rd and long with 8:55 to go in the first quarter.
I think Andrew Glover had that mixed up a little bit. The tight end breaking right into where the draw was supposed to hit. Looking a little confused in there.
Glover, the tight end. Williams was able to squeeze a little yardage out of that after he was initially stopped behind the line of scrimmage. There's Seau lining up behind the defensive tackle. It's 3rd down and 4 with Brown in motion. Hostetler protected well. He swings it out to Harvey Williams, and Williams does a nice job. He had to reach for it. He was off balance, but he was able to have the presence of mind to get to that first down marker and beyond. And it's a 7-yard pickup.
Frank, give Harvey a star on his helmet. Boy, what a play by Williams. That's a dead play from the beginning with that poorly thrown pass.
You got a fine block by Andrew Glover, the tight end, to break it down the sidelines. There's Williams. Andrew Glover will get the block on Junior Seau and avoided the clip in doing so, but that made the first down.
Game tied at 7 with 7:40 to go in the first. First down. And Williams runs right into O'Neal and Reuben Davis. Reuben Davis listed at about 320. You can add about 20.
Some big guys. Chargers come into tonight's game after 12 games, 3rd in the league against the rush. They're a tough team to run the football against. In fact, they're 6th overall in the NFL defensively.
When you're only giving up 82 yards a game running,
you're doing well.
In your rush defense, that's superior.
Bill Arnsparger, the defensive coordinator, doing another of his masterful jobs. Bobby Beathard providing the ink to paint the canvas, and they've done a great job defensively.
2nd and 9 at the 46-yard line. Haas throws, and it's nearly picked off. Darian Gordon almost intercepted it. 3rd and 9.
Get used to hearing that name, Darian Gordon. He was the Chargers' #1 draft choice last year, and he is on his way to stardom in this league. He gets the legal hit, playing the zone defense, and then, boy, good burst to the football.
Oh, you have to like something about it. He will take a chance. He's a youngster, first-round pick a year ago out of Stanford, but he is a chance taker and a game breaker. There's Bill Arnsparger. Been around this league. Head coach of the Giants, one time with LSU, formerly with the Miami Dolphins.
3rd down and 9. Hostetler flushed out. Flag is down. And the pass is low and incomplete at the 31. And that play may never have been official. I thought I heard a whistle, and in fact I did. It was blown dead, even though the crowd is so noisy the players couldn't hear the whistle.
Snap, the 25-second clock expired. Delay of game on the offense. It's still third down.
Well, we're going to be into double digits here before long. I think that's what, number 6?
I mean, that might be understandable. That's Fred Biletnikoff. He's relaying the plays in from Tom Walsh, the offensive coordinator, high above. But I mean, it gets so loud. Junior Seau actually is orchestrating this crowd. When they get ready to do a blitz, that's when he whips up the frenzy of the crowd, so Hostetler can't change the play at the line of scrimmage. He's done it a couple times already, and it's been very effective.
3rd and 14, Raiders at their own 49. The game is tied 7-7, 6:45 remaining in the opening quarter. Here comes another flag. Brown makes a beautiful catch for what would be a first down, and Greg Strepanak is going to be called for holding the tackle.
This isn't funny.
Holding number 78 of the offense. Third down.
Chris Mims called it for us.
It's a classic rip move. They call it the rip when you drive that right arm and try to get it underneath and get leverage on the offensive tackle. And Art Shell knows a little bit about that. There it is right in front of us. Mims is 94, Strepanak 78. There's the rip right there. He gets it up underneath, and Strepanak stays with it and drives him into the ground. But that's really drawn by Mims. That's just a very, very good look at what that rip move looks like.
3rd and 24.
Better look at a hold.
At the 39. Haas has to get him to the San Diego 37, and they try a middle screen, and Harvey Williams gets taken down at the 41 on a beautiful tackle by the ex-Dolphin David Briggs.
Well, what we need here in San Diego is a little excitement from the crowd. I don't know what people say who say that Southern California crowds are a little laid back. They get here late and are quiet. That's not the case here in Jack Murphy Stadium.
Charger fans are an emotional roller coaster. Watch Seau now make the play here, as he so often does. Well, if we could say he took Harvey Williams, but forced him to the outside. We'll give him that. He's had a tough couple of weeks.
Jeff Gossett the kick. Darian Gordon, who ran one back last week against the Rams, and it's a bad kick. And something you don't see off the foot of Gossett very often. Jeff 3rd in the league, coming in averaging 44.5. 5:31 left in the quarter. The game is tied 7-7.
I wonder what kind of enthusiasm if he'd have said, "Are you ready for some leave?"
Right up the road is Camp Pendleton, where a lot of Gyrenes have gone through their first camp.
Big military presence, of course, in and around San Diego. Chargers take the ball after a 14-yard Jeff Gossett punt. And this is Ronnie Harmon, who is their 3rd down specialist for the most part. Doesn't see very much action on 1st and 2nd down. Stopped by Albert Lewis near midfield.
We got a Raider that's pretty slow getting up down here.
That's Lewis, who's been hurt. Albert has missed some time.
He's got a sprained knee. That's been the cause of him missing. He didn't play last week. And Albert Lewis, the very talented Raider cornerback, the former Chief, still down on the ground.
Injury timeout. Was able to walk off under his own power. The Raiders, though, are missing Lionel Washington, the cornerback. He's hurt, calf muscle. And so they're a little short in the secondary coming in tonight. On 2nd and 5, it's Ronnie Harmon again, who gets to the 46-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1 with under 5 minutes to play in the quarter.
That's James Trapp. He's the guy that's taken the spot over at the right cornerback position, just a 2nd-year player. And they are dangerously thin. Albert is up and looks like he's ready to come back into the game, and the Raiders need him back out on the field.
Trapp, one of those sprinters they seem to collect with the Raiders, an Olympic sprinter from Clemson.
Lewis is back in the game. They also have Hoskins, who had been hurt. He's healthy now, but they're dinged up in the secondary. On a counter, Harmon goes nowhere. So the Chargers, who normally only use Harmon in 3rd down situation, run him on 1st, 2nd, and 3rd down and go 3 and out. He's stopped by Chester McLaughlin.
And yes, I think stopped is a very appropriate word.
McLaughlin, 310 pounds. Harmon, right around 2.5.
Brian Wagner, who's been with 5 teams, to punt. Tim Brown, one of the best in the league at running back kicks, the Heisman Trophy winner at Notre Dame as a senior.
Real duel for that championship this year in the NFL.
Dave Meggett leading the league. Fair catch is called for and made at the 18-yard line. Raiders will take over there with 3:37 to go in the quarter after a 31-yard punt. LA 7, San Diego 7. Yeah.
Think she really broke a nail?
A couple. Game tied 7-7. 3:37 to go in the first quarter. And Hostetler buying time, throws, and it's Andrew Glover, the tight end, making the catch. That's an 8-yard pickup as he hauls it in at the 26. David Griggs, the linebacker, stops him there.
Tough assignment for Griggs, a former Miami Dolphin that the Dolphins used as a defensive end, trying to cover Andrew Glover, a fine athlete as a tight end.
You saw the Raider chain of command there. Tom Walsh was up in the press box, the offensive coordinator, calling down the plays into the headset of Fred Biletnikoff, who in turn calls them into Hostetler. Calvin Jones is now in the game at running back, the rookie from Nebraska. Jones gets the ball on 2nd and 2 and picks up the first down. Calvin to the 36, Darren Carrington making the tackle.
Big series here for Andrew Glover. He makes a reception on first down and then goes in motion that time and shows you really the versatility needed by a tight end. He has to turn at the line of scrimmage and make a block right at the point of attack. Here's a guy that when he came into the NFL, a former basketball player, was green as green could be, and he is really blossoming into one of the league's better tight ends. This guy's going to be around a long time.
10-yard gain for Jones, the longest of his very brief career, and a whistle before the inception.
Raiders don't even look. They just walk backwards.
Ball start. Center jerks the ball. Number 72. 5 yards. It's still first down.
I mean, that entire Raider team was walking backwards before the call was even made.
That's Don Mosbar, the center. He's nursing a bad ankle, but he has been a rock. Let's see if he moves the ball. Yep, that is simulating a snap. Junior Seau right on top of Mosbar. That's a good spot by the official. That's illegal.
1st and 5 at the 31. Short drop by Hostetler, then intended for Brown and incomplete. Raider bench, Steve Ortmeyer and company on a 1st and 15-1 interference. Darian Gordon with the coverage.
Well, Gordon lined up right on top of Tim Brown as he came off the line of scrimmage. I think Brown was complaining that he was manhandled beyond the 5-yard limit. He has every right to complain. They call this on every occasion. No. What he did was almost pick it off. There's a late hit. That's really by Stanley Richard. That's probably what was really drawing his temper.
2nd and 15 at the 31.
For a Raider to complain about that.
Another flag for a change. This play didn't even take place either because the whistles are blowing, but the crowd is so loud. This is louder than any dome I can think of.
I think Hostetler is saying there was 1 second.
Before the snap was made, the 25-second clock expired. Delay of game on the offense. It's still 2nd down.
This is really pathetic. Yeah. Art Shell is going to have
Please reset the clock to 2-0-0.
a volcanic eruption on the Raiders sideline here before long. 9 penalties, and we are still in the first quarter of play. Incredibly, there are 2 minutes left in the first quarter.
Well, when the numbers are kept to record a record for one penalty.
They've tied the record.
It is.
And they have 2 minutes to go. 2 minutes to break it. Calvin Jones up to the 28-yard line on 2nd and 20.
Calvin Jones.
Steve Hurt reading our minds or something.
Yeah, I guess that's the record for the 94 season, 9 1/4. That's this year, that's not an all-time record. And we still got a lot of time to go.
The all-time record is not kept or available, but we'll check out the record for most penalties in the game because they're on a pace right now to break that, I'll guarantee you. 3rd and 18 at the 28-yard line with 1 minute and 20 to go in the opening quarter and the game tied at 7. And Hostetler Another flag. He gets to the 30-yard line. It'll be 4th and long pending the call. Flag down in the secondary all the way up at the 45-yard line. The record for penalties in the game for one team is 22. Right now they're on a pace for 36.
Well, you'd have to think this is going to go against San Diego somehow back in the secondary.
Well, Jet was complaining that Dwayne Harper had
illegal use of hands to the face. Number 28 of the defense. 5 yards, automatic first down.
It is Dwayne Harper working against James Jet.
Well, it's about 15 yards downfield. A move is going to come to our right, and there's the use of the hand. They're saying Harper actually hit Jet in the face.
He did.
And that's a big break for Los Angeles.
First down at the 35-yard line. Hostetler swings it out to Tom Rathman, and the former 49er gets across the 50 and is wrestled down at the 47-yard line by David Griggs. Tom Rathman, who came out of the backfield to catch so many passes for San Francisco, makes the reception here, and that is only his 17th of the season.
One would think that you've been a big part of the Raider passing game, throwing to their running back.
Wouldn't be a bad idea to put it in.
They split Harvey Williams to the left as a wide receiver. Keep Rathman in the backfield, and Hostetler throws, and the catch is made by Rocket Ismail at the 37-yard line. That's close to a first down, and that will be the final play of the opening quarter. End of one. Raiders 7, Chargers 7, and back we come with Monday Night Football after this message and a word from our ABC station. 42-10 was the final score. Doug Williams had that fabulous day, and the Redskins scored 35 points in the second quarter.
And they had a running back that ran for over 200 yards that day.
Timmy Smith.
Timmy Smith, who
Doug Williams and Tim Smith
disappeared.
Well, that's what.
And such a look of frustration came over his face when we asked him that. We didn't want to pursue it. Of course, he also weighs about 280.
Start the second quarter in San Diego. The game is tied at 7. It's 1st and 10 for the Raiders, and it's Ismail on an end around. And the Rocket takes off, picks up a first down, and out of bounds he goes at the 24-yard line.
Leslie O'Neal had him right in his sights, but that's asking an awful lot of a 270-pound defensive end to take on Ismail.
13-yard game. Let's get an update from Lynn Swan. Lynn?
He plays head up on people, try and protect the arm a little bit, and use his right arm as much as possible. Al?
From the 24-yard line, Harvey Williams picks up a yard, and that injury may have caused probably the worst outing of the season last week for Seau. He missed a lot of tackles in the game here against the Rams.
You know how that had to hurt him, too. And to find out that something was bothering him, you had to wonder as you looked at the game against the Rams. He missed at least 4 clean shots, and they've told us even more. And, of course, it's due to a pinched nerve in his neck. He really had a difficult time lifting that left arm through much of that game.
2nd and 9 at the 23. Early second quarter, the game tied at 7. Hostetler has to bring it back down, and Leslie O'Neal got there first, and Reuben Davis helps to finish him off.
Coverage sack, though. Good coverage on the part of the Chargers, picking up the Raider receivers. Hostetler, no place to put it.
If Leslie gets credit for that entire sack, that'll be 11.5 on the season. Here he is working against Gerald Perry.
And we've got holding against San Diego on the play here.
And he gets that left arm on top of Hostetler just as the Haas is trying to throw, but this will be another automatic first down for the Los Angeles Raiders. This is the second time this drive it's been kept alive by a penalty that's provided an automatic first down.
Never got the audio call from Jerry Austin as to who was responsible, but it's an automatic first at the 18-yard line. And it's a little toss to Harvey Williams, and he doesn't go very far. Half a yard, maybe 1. Tackled at the 17 by Leslie O'Neal.
Looking all the world for like a student body left. Quick pursuing defense of the Chargers nails it right at the line of scrimmage.
Well, it's one of the things you get by a guy like Leslie O'Neal. He's right to the right of your screen, but he's a smallish defensive end. Leslie only weighs about 265 pounds, and then in this age of behemoths, he's rather small, but what he does have is great speed for that guy, Bill Arnsparger, the defensive coordinator. He can scoop.
10th play of the drive, 2nd and 9, and Harvey Williams fights his way to the 15-yard line, just inside the 15. It'll set up a 3rd down and 6. There's Tom Walsh, and he's calling the plays into the headset of Fred Biletnikoff, the great wide receiver, who in turn is talking to Hostetler.
And one would like to think that they would like to work Tim Brown. They're inside the red zone. They can't give him the kind of coverage they can in the middle of the field, and they'll have to play him a little tight, gives him an opportunity to break away.
3rd and 6 at the 14-yard line. They put Brown in motion. Hostetler comes to the near side and seeks the 1st down and dives, and I believe he has it.
He got it.
Just inside the marker.
The ball carrier.
A gutsy guy. He's grimacing there, but we've already documented the fact that he went out at the end of the first half, and he's going to go out again, I think. But I don't think it has anything to do with his head. He was holding his hand.
Yeah, Haas now's down on a knee. He's actually gone down to the field, and Vince Evans is going to have to get ready in a hurry. He's looking for his helmet. Is that mine? And Jeff Hostetler is down.
He's grabbing his left arm. He kind of did a vicious roll when he
landed. Watch him land on his right elbow right here. Right there. That landing a lot of times will hurt a guy's shoulder. I'm so looking at his right shoulder and his right elbow landing. He gets stepped on his left hand by Darian Gordon. We've got a look at it here. Forget the right arm. Look at his left hand as it goes flush on the turf. Right there, he gets stepped on by Gordon.
Vince Evans, 39 years old, drafted by the Bears in 1977. Played half the game last week. 1st and goal. Harvey Williams gets strung out and taken down for a loss of 2 by David Griggs. It'll be 2nd and goal at the 9 with 11:30 to go in the first half, and the game tied at 7 as they work on Haas.
I think we might see him coming back. It's his left arm. And if you want to talk about tough quarterbacks, and we've got 2 of them tonight, Stan Humphries is playing 3 weeks after he dislocated his elbow with a brace on his left elbow.
Well, what we're
Hostetler has played through so many things that I've seen in the past with the Giants and also with the Raiders.
A couple points. If it's a cut, I couldn't agree with you more, Frank. He'll be back in there. The question, I think, now, are there broken bones?
2nd oldest player in the league on the Rams tackle. Jackie Slater is older, and on 2nd and goal, the catch is made by Rackman, but he gets banged down at the 6-yard line. Darian Gordon coming up from the secondary along with the sheriff, Stanley Richard.
Pretty good run support by Darian Gordon. We saw him earlier in the game making a break on the ball and playing the football the way a corner should. A lot of guys, though, who are that good of a cover guy aren't much on supporting the run. That was a good lick by Gordon.
Continuing to work on the hand of Jeff Hostetler, and meanwhile the 39-year-old Vince Evans once again has to take over.
3rd and goal, the 14th play of the drive from the 6. Brown in motion. Evans guns it over the middle of the back of the end zone. Touchdown, Rocket Ismail.
Well, that's good work by Vince Evans. Standing in the pocket. He got good protection, but he waited till Ismail cleared, opened up, waited a long time. I'll tell you, that's tough to come off the bench, perform like that. Not even a chance to warm up on the sidelines, and he fired a strike for the touchdown.
Well, he got good pass protection. Look at the pocket that's afforded to Vince Evans, and he's got the throwing lane right up the middle where he wanted to go with the football.
What a look at it.
Perfect work by the Raider offensive line.
Jaeger for the point after. Vince Evans throws his first touchdown pass of the season and the 45th of a long career. 14-7 Raiders.
Became the oldest player to throw a touchdown pass on Monday Night Football.
You believe that George Blanda is quarterback? He is. Throw a bomb, George. He wants Brad French on it. Oh, I don't believe it. Oh, cow. Oh, they love him here in Oakland, I'll tell you that. They love him.
Jeff Hostetler, they had the hand completely wrapped. He shook his head, and they had to take it off, and they're putting on what appears to be just a large Band-Aid, which will cover the outside of the hand. He'll be back.
14-7 Los Angeles. It's a short kickoff by Jeff Jager. It is fielded at the 20-yard line by the rookie Andre Coleman. And he gets taken down after a 6-yard run back at the 26-yard line. Aaron Wallace stops him there. ABC's Monday Night Football is being brought to
them in the first quarter, but really the big story of that scoring drive was that it was kept alive by 2 defensive penalties against the Chargers that both resulted in automatic first downs. It kept that thing going.
Stan Humphries from the 26-yard line on first down. A little dump-off pass to Natron Meads. And he gets taken down at the 29-yard line by their top draft pick, Rob Fredrickson, who never gave an inch.
Yeah, that was a pass play you call better you than me. Stan Humphries, no one to throw the ball to, and you know, I'm not going to run it. Here, you take it. And you see the reason, too, because here it is.
I don't know if
Your ball, babe.
I don't know if Fredrickson's trying to get rid of a cobweb, or he lost a contact, or he's got some grass in his eye.
There's a running back who's heavier than the linebacker tackling him by about 10 pounds. Means again booms his way out to the 38-yard line in the first down, tackled by Anderson and Bates.
Well, he carries 245 pounds about as delicately as any big back I've seen. He is incredible in maneuverability. His weight is all in the upper part of his body, and he can really apply a crunch on a tackler. Watch this.
Oh, what a good lead block he had out front by rookie Shannon Mitchell.
And Eddie Anderson paid a price in taking Means down. Number 33, he took a shot.
9 minutes left in the half. Raiders 14, Chargers 7. First down from the 38-yard line. Humphries guns one to midfield to the 50-yard line. Tony Martin makes the catch. First down. Martin coming off a game in which he dropped 2 short touchdown passes. Swain exhorting his teammate after losing his helmet. The left tackle, 12-yard pickup, and Haas is throwing on the sideline. They're getting ready to.
Take a look at the former Miami Dolphin. He came here this past season. He's working against Albert Lewis back in the game and breaks to the inside, works against the zone, finds an opening, and a good delivery there by Humphries.
Have the Chargers even thrown at Terry McDaniel yet?
Not hit in his direction to this point. Means picking and threading and picks up just a yard. Nolan Harrison is there, a little pushy shoving.
There's Terry McDaniel, the all-world corner, who's on the other side. He's already got 7 interceptions.
I think for a man-to-man defender, he's right up there, maybe with Deion Sanders.
He is good as they get.
Great player.
Unfortunately, if you're the other Raider cornerback, whether that be Lionel Washington or Albert Lewis, you're going to get more than your fair share of business during the course of a football game.
Aeneas Williams of the Cardinals leads the league in interceptions with 8. It's 2nd and 10. Humphries buys time, and the catch is made a little short of the first down. Mark Say, his first reception of the game to the 42-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 2.
In front of Terry McDaniel.
No sooner than we talk about it, they go right at Terry McDaniel.
Yesterday, Marty Schottenheimer said, quote, today, I have no idea if he can play next Monday night. On 3rd and 2, going deep and incomplete on 3rd and 2. They go to Tony Martin down the left sideline, but the coverage was there, and it's 4th down.
Well, that's good coverage. Tony Martin has great speed. His hands have always been a problem for him. You mentioned the 2 touchdowns he dropped. He dropped a lot of them down in Miami, but he has classic speed. He has classic moves, and he had just a little bit of an opening, but it would have had to been a perfect pass as Albert Lewis was stride for stride with him.
Stan dropped that ball out there just about 5 feet too far.
It was almost perfect.
Brian Wagner to punt to try to pin the Raiders deep. Brown back to receive it. High floating short kick. Flag is down, and the kick will go out of bounds at about the 27-yard line, but there's a marker down clear across the field on this side, the near side.
Jerry Austin, we're going to have to send him down some throat lozenges at halftime.
It was 4th and 2.
After the kick, illegal use of hands to the face. Number 47, 10 yards, first down.
Donald Frank, another big penalty.
And they never end. And look at Art Shell. He shakes his head just as he shook his head last night when we asked him about it.
6:46. Raiders have it when we come back. Well, we'll have to see about Joe Montana next week because he's listed as highly questionable. Jeff Hostetler, though, who had to come out when his hand was stepped on, is back in with the bandage after Evans came in and threw a touchdown pass. 1st and 10 from the 17-yard line, and Harvey Williams takes it out to the 30-yard line. And a Raider first down. He's tackled by Junior Seau.
Former first-round draft pick of the Kansas City Chiefs that came to the Raiders this year as a free agent and really didn't start. Well, this is his 7th start that he's made, but he's up over 700 yards rushing.
What they haven't been able to do is break any big plays running the football. I think like 28 yards was their longest run of the entire year.
And here is Williams again, and that's a -2 or 3. Sean Lee makes the tackle. What we would call a rushing sack.
Yes, they're glad to have Sean Lee back. He didn't play in the game last week. He's got a calf injury as well, and he's a force in the middle. With Reuben Davis and Sean Lee, the Chargers have done what they really wanted to do in the middle, and that was to put some beef in there, some really big, wide bodies to make it hard to run up the middle. That way they could move Mims back to defensive end, complement Leslie O'Neal's quickness. It's worked.
2nd and 13. 5.5 minutes left in the half. The Raiders on top by 7. They split Williams to the left as a wideout. Haas buys time, goes, finds the open man. It is James Jett.
Goodbye.
James Jett is into San Diego territory and is wrestled down at the 19-yard line by Stanley Richard.
Oh, we now know Stanley Richard has some speed. He caught an Olympic-class sprinter, and what a great pass by Jeff Hostetler.
After he got away,
the pain and duress,
and after he got away from Sean Lee. Sean Lee is all over it.
He got across the body, and he had it on a string. He had something on it. Ordinarily, you can throw the ball that far, but you won't have anything on it. Superb effort. Take a look at Jett. Right about now, Hostetler is in a lot of trouble. He rolls out, and Jett gives him a target.
54 yards. Harvey Williams picks up 3. This is what the Raider fans have wanted and expected all season long. We mentioned at the top, the passing game has been a huge disappointment. They've been unable to get the ball deep until tonight. 76 yards to Wright and 54 yards here to James Jett. That's what Raider fans have expected all season.
Sean Lee is over on the Chargers bench. He looks a little gassed.
Raiders tonight, 194 yards through the air. Jett's longest reception until then had been 31. It is 2nd and 8, and Haas throws over the middle. It's tipped and is picked off at the 10-yard line by David Briggs, who's been all over the field tonight. Harvey Williams, the intended receiver, the pass tipped, Briggs with the pick.
Oh, and Hostetler made a great effort getting out of trouble to get the ball to Harvey Williams, who should have had that ball, had a little something on it, but it was through the hands and picked off by Griggs.
Good as it gets here, Jack Murphy.
1st and 10, San Diego at the 21-yard line. Natron Means picks up 2, and it's a vital game for the Raiders at 6 and 6 as they try to stay alive, and San Diego on the verge of clinching the AFC West, and the fate of San Diego in its own hands in terms of home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
The Raiders go 6 and 7. They have got to be in deep trouble. We have Denver and Kansas City both at 7 and 6. They're 2 back, and the Chargers lock it up tonight. It's going to be a long trip back those 125 miles tonight.
It is 2nd down and 8 at the 23-yard line for the Chargers. Ronnie Harmon in motion. And Humphreys throws up to the 29-yard line. Dwayne Young makes the catch. Patrick Bates with the stop. I think Humphreys was looking for an off left side as it was quite a pass rush that time.
You know, the one thing I like about the Raiders is the fact that this is such a game of desperation for them, and the way they've come out and started to play this thing. I mean, this is a team that obviously spent a good week of preparation. They're focused, they're hitting hard, and they're doing things differently. They are, like you'd mentioned, throwing the ball downfield, doing the things they do best but haven't done. And I think that's what they have to do the final 4 games of the year.
And there's a classic example right there as Natron Means takes it. Al Davis watching Eddie Anderson and others lead that charge as they blitz. They stop him for a loss, create the punt with 2:40 to go in the half.
Well, a pure run blitz that was. Everyone taking a gap, and it paid off. There you see Eddie Anderson, number 33, sneaking up. Everyone hitting a gap, and Means nowhere to go. Loss on the play, 4th down, and the Raiders will get it in good field position.
Brian Wagner to punt, Tim Brown to bring it back.
Well, you love to see this after you turn the ball over. You get it right back.
Brown at the 39, mini juggle. And then he brings it up to the 49-yard line, and there's a marker down. The Raiders have already been penalized 10 times in the half, but still lead 14-7.
I remember what Art Shell said last night. We didn't have we had less than a handful of penalties against the Steelers and got our brains beat out. Maybe we're better off getting a lot of penalties. And if, you know, don't miss them as well.
Number 40.
From behind. Number 40 during the return. 10 yards. It's 1st down.
Terry Brabham, 2nd time he's been whistled tonight.
Our argument against that, Vince Lombardi had the, we'll take a look at this first. Most penalties per game. I think it was Vince Lombardi who had the fewest.
Right. Well, Art Shell, Joe Walton, Jerry Glanville, Buddy Ryan would figure to be on that list than he is, and Monty Clark among those who've coached at least 50 games. And the fewest, as Frank mentioned, Vince Lombardi, whose teams averaged just 4.12 penalties per game in his illustrious career.
5 NFL championships and 2 Super Bowls, and that might say something.
At the 32-yard line, 1st and 10. Rathman in motion. Haas. Flush, tip, incomplete. Harvey Williams, the intended receiver, the pressure put on by Mims. The Raiders next week go home. It's going to be a wild situation if the Raiders win because they have Denver at home next Sunday. And John Elway, as you know, was hurt yesterday. Strained muscle in his knee, mildly strained knee ligaments. May play this weekend. It's about 50-50. It's unknown at this time. Otherwise, it's Hugh Millen who led them to the overtime win at Kansas City. And we already talked about Joe Montana, highly questionable next week. Tough in this division, too. Rick Meyer is out for the season after surgery on his left thumb in Seattle. And the 2 banged-up guys here tonight in Hostetler and Humphreys as Harvey Williams takes it up to the 36-yard line. And it takes us to the 2-minute warning. Sayal makes the stop, and the Raiders lead by 7. In the half, 3rd and 7. Raiders from the 35-yard line. Hostetler throws. There's a flag down, and again, that's one of those plays that I think was whistle dead before the snap.
Penalty flags on the field.
Raiders walking east again.
Before the snap, double clutch on the center. 5 yards. It's still 3rd down.
That's twice on
Please
most
reset the clock to 2 minutes.
The ball didn't double clutch so much as Mosbar arched his back and kind of simulated a snap.
He double clutched.
Wow.
3rd down and 12. Hostetler throws. Rackman can't make the catch. The coverage was right there. Sean Van Horst on top of him, and the Chargers are going to get the ball back.
Deliberately, now, let's point that out.
Never burn your bridges.
No, you bet. Got that just might be a penalty. Dan Land bangs into him.
But there's no reason in the world to do that.
Yep. Darian Gordon clearly calling for the fair catch.
But even if he didn't, you have to give him room to catch the ball.
Sure.
You don't see many like that.
But I say
well,
he
we should
didn't
never have to
call
see
for
it
the fair.
twice.
What he did is he has to be given room, obviously, before the ball comes down.
I wouldn't be surprised if they threw him out.
Interference with the opportunity to make a fair catch. Number 25. 15 yards. 1st down.
Well, some things.
Puts the Chargers at their own 45. They have all of their timeouts remaining. On 1st and 10. 5-man rush, and Humphreys almost goes down and then does. Aaron Wallace hit him first, and then Anthony Smith knocks him to the ground.
Drop for a loss. Stop by number 94, Anthony Smith.
Another look at the land play, as you can see, hitting him with the crown of the helmet. A nice close-up view here.
And Gene Washington, who works in the National Football League's office, is the guy that takes a look at plays like that, determining later whether they're worthy of a fine.
On 3rd and 17, it is incomplete. 3 Raiders were there providing the coverage. It was 2nd and 17. Eddie Anderson was the man who broke it up with 1:20 to go in the first half. Raiders have now been penalized 13 times for 110 yards, but still lead 14-7.
Yeah, both these teams have a difficulty protecting their quarterback. They might be well advised to shorten up the pass game somewhat. They're both the quarterbacks trying to go deep downfield and having a hard time getting rid of it. This is one way to solve it.
To convert, he's got to get it to the Raider 45, and he does to the 39. Mark Say makes a terrific catch.
Eddie Anderson played the ball. And how does Stan Humphreys,
Great effort by Humphreys.
rolls all the way to the right, not known as a really strong-arm quarterback, wings this thing all the way across field, beating the Raider defense to his receiver. That's some throw.
First down and timeout, San Diego.
Across the field for the first.
On first down from the 39-yard line, it's incomplete at the 34-yard line. Tony Martin couldn't hold on. Donald Frank, a former Charger, provided the coverage.
That was really good coverage by Donald Frank. A little unorthodox, has to do a complete spin to get it all the way back into it, but it still worked. Take a look at this. This is not
that this should have been caught too. He dropped it before he was even hit.
Frank in his first year with the Raiders after 4 years here. Flags. Humphreys throws. That is in and out of the hands of Sean Jefferson. Albert Lewis comes up with it, but the play whistled dead. Anthony Smith was jumping. The Raider defensive end.
Offside on the defense. 5 yards. Still second down.
Humphreys is doing a pretty good job. It's a very loud hard count, but he's also bobbing his head a little bit. Watch Stan's head move here a little bit when he makes that. There it is right there. That's Anthony Smith is moving on that head movement as much as he is on the actual audible bark. There's the commissioner of the National Football League, Paul Tagliabue. You'd think a guy could get better seats than that being the commissioner of this thing, all the way in the last row.
Got him out of our allotment. 2nd and 5 from the 34. The catch is made at the 29 by Sean Jefferson, and he tries to crawl out of bounds but can't, which means San Diego will have to either use a timeout or hustle up to the line. And they choose to
Hustle they do.
Yep. Keep the timeout. The 28-yard line, he called for the first down, and this is Harmon. He gets out of bounds. No gain at the 28. Second down.
Good move by Harmon. He knew all the way that he was not going to get anything out of that, and so he skipped to the sidelines, stopped the clock.
Number 37, James Trapp.
35 seconds remaining in the half.
This is where Harmon is at his most effective now. He works so well out of the backfield as a receiver.
Okay.
Raiders certainly not unaware of that, but has been almost impossible for them to cover.
2nd and 11. Humphreys going deep and nobody home, and there's a marker down at the line of scrimmage, and Humphreys is shaking. And Humphreys holding his hand. Well, Hostetler had his left hand stepped on, and Humphreys holding his right thumb.
And he calls for Gail Gilbert. He's actually signaling.
Illegal formation on the offense. The tight end is covered up. We have holding. Number 47 on the defense. The penalty is offset. Replay, second down.
Stan
Stan
Now
Humphries
he's taking a knee out of the field, and now he's going to come off.
He's trying to regroup, but he's just not going to be able to do it. Gilbert comes in. He's played some this year for the Chargers. He's had to fill in when Stan missed the game. And he's hit. He catches that hand as he's coming through on the follow-through. I think Chester McLaughlin was the Raider, and boy, that's when quarterbacks can really get hurt on the follow-through of that throwing motion.
2nd and 11. And again, there's no play here. Flags all over the joint. Harry Swain moved. Nice catch by the official. I mean, think about this division right now. Humphries, you're watching him tonight. Haas, the concussion last week, the hand tonight. Elway, Montana. Their immediate futures in doubt in terms of action next week. And Meyer gone for the season.
The snaps. Number 72. 5 yards. It's still 2nd down.
The thing with Stan Humphries is when you get hit in that throwing motion, it can damage the hand, it can damage the elbow, it can damage the shoulder. There's McLaughlin.
On 2nd and 15, Gilbert, the former Buffalo Bill, to Ronnie Harmon. And he takes it to the 20-yard line. He's still a little short of the first. Terry McDaniel makes the stop. Timeout, San Diego.
Oh, he is exciting.
Chargers have 1 timeout and 19 ticks when we come back. 14-7 Los Angeles. And we'll check on his progress as part of our Lexus halftime report. 3rd down and 2, and they convert as Alfred Papuno makes the catch, but he stays in bounds. That will compel San Diego to take its final timeout at the 16-yard line.
Puts a little bit of a burden on Gail Gilbert.
Gilbert looking, throwing, and he runs the risk of it, and Martin with a great spin move scores. Unbelievable. Donald Frank trying to make the stop, trying to keep him in bounds, and instead he runs around them for the touchdown. What a play.
And this crowd is cheering first that he caught the ball because he dropped those 2 touchdowns a week ago. He dropped one a short while ago. He makes a difficult play into a great play and gets the Chargers 6. Effort by Tony Martin.
And Carney for the point after. Ooh. That was wild. So each backup quarterback has come off the bench to throw a touchdown pass. Rocket Ismail is back deep to receive the kick along with Alexander Wright. John Carney will send a bouncing ball to the 16-yard line. Alexander Wright, who scored a touchdown on the first offensive play of the night for the Raiders, brings it back out to the 33-yard line as the clock ticks down and the first half comes to a conclusion. At the half, it's the Raiders 14 and the Chargers 14. And Settler, who was in and out as he was last week because of the concussion, and there is Gail Gilbert, who came on in relief of the injured Stan Humphries at the end of the first half to hit Tony Martin for a touchdown reception to tie the game on a night when Art Shell's team desperately needs a win to go 7-6 and stay very much in the thick of things for a wild card berth, and Bobby Ross's team tries to clinch the AFC West after 13 games.
Yeah, they'd like to clinch it tonight because the Chargers, after tonight, take on the San Francisco 49ers. They play the New York Jets, and they close with the Pittsburgh Steelers, and none of those would be what you call easy contests.
If the Chargers can win all of their games, they would have home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs. Even though they have the same mark as the Steelers, they'd have the advantage because they would have beaten the Steelers in the last game of the season. Kickoff taken by Rocket Ismail, who gets banged down up at the 28-yard line after the Carney kickoff, and it's Doug Miller who makes the tackle. And let's get an update from Lynn Swan on the sideline.
Come back in. He was warming up, throwing the football. Something was wrong. He went back into the locker room with the trainer and has not come back out yet. Al?
All right, so Humphries has a little time because the Raiders begin the third quarter with the football. Jeff Hostetler, the quarterback. Tom Rathman and Harvey Williams behind him in the backfield. They fake it to Williams, and he guns it to Tim Brown up at the 38. He works his way to the 41. That's a Raider first down. And their passing game is clicking as effectively tonight as at any point this season.
And that's only the second reception for their leading receiver, Tim Brown, of the night. And he does come up with the first down.
Here are the halftime numbers, a decided advantage for the Los Angeles Raiders. But again, look at those penalties. 14 penalties in the first half. Wouldn't you love to have listened to Art Shell, what he had to say to his club in that locker room at halftime?
First and 10 at the 42-yard line. Glover in motion. Harvey Williams takes it through the middle, gets 2 to the 44-yard line. He's tackled by Dennis Gibson, the former Lion. When the season began, Ty Montgomery was their lead running back, but the way it's evolved, Montgomery is inactive tonight, and Harvey's become the man.
Montgomery only has a 2.7 per carry average, and that just isn't good enough in the National Football League. Harvey Williams averaging 3.5 yards per carry for what has been a very anemic running game for the Raiders. Only 94 yards a game coming into tonight.
Second and 8 at the 44. Good protection for Haas. He hits Harvey Williams, and Williams is out of bounds at the 48-yard line. That's going to set up a 3rd and 4.
Williams, number 1 draft pick of the Chiefs back in '91. That was his most productive year there. 447 yards, and then he only became the featured back 7 or 8 weeks ago. Now coming back on the field is Stan Humphries, and I don't know whether he maybe went in to spray that down or ice it or
see him working
shoot it up or what.
See him working that little squeezy there in his right hand, trying to limber that thumb up, and of course it's all about pressure. Can he put enough pressure to grip that football to throw it effectively?
3rd and 4, the play clock down to 2. Haas looking, throwing, and it's incomplete, but there's a flag. We got a marker down intended for Rocket Ismail. Darian Gordon will get the penalty.
Ishmael himself slipped and went to the turf. Hostetler had to carry that on the rollout further than he wanted.
Holding number 21 of the defense, 5 yards.
But they'll call.
First down.
They will put the flag on Gordon.
First down, Los Angeles at the San Diego 47. 12:51 left, 3rd quarter. The game tied at 14. Haas pressured. A flag is thrown, and down he goes in the arms of Chris Mims.
That should be a holding call as well as a sack.
Something that Jeff Hostetler has had to do all too much this year.
Illegal use of hands to the face. Number 72 of the offense. The penalty is declined. Second down.
Jeff Hostetler has spent a lot of the year fighting for his life in this Raider pocket. That call against Mosbar, but not really a factor. But Jeff Hostetler is a very mobile and a very athletic quarterback, and he has had to be here in 1994 for the Raiders.
You know, in name, Dan, this is a great offensive line, wouldn't you say?
I went 10 yards.
A lot of good football players. Really, the only question mark is Skrepenik at right tackle, the only youngster that's trying to evolve in. Gerald Perry at left tackle, a solid player. Mosbar, Wisniewski are Pro Bowl players. Kevin.
Penalty decline, 6-yard sack, 2nd and 16 at the 47-yard line. Screen, Rathman breaks a tackle, slips down at the 50-yard line. Gordon stops him there. It'll be 3rd down and 13. He broke the tackle of Junior Seau.
Yeah, that's not he's not one of those nifty runners. He tried to give you one of those Gale Sayre cutbacks, and he's got kind of a wide body for that kind of a move.
A good look at Seau and how he is having trouble tackling. He does everything right, breaks through it, but just doesn't seem to have the strength to wrap up. Lynn Swan documented earlier about how he's got a pinched nerve that is causing him a strength problem in one arm, and boy, it was really evident there as he attempted to make that tackle.
3rd and 13. Hostetler, a little dump off to Harvey Williams. He has to get to the 37 for a first. Another flag is down. He gets to the 42-yard line. By the way, when a penalty is declined, it doesn't count in what seems to be an inexorable march by the Raiders toward a record. So that last one by Mosbar didn't count. Here, you've got another one against the Raiders coming up.
And we had a good look at Junior Seau struggling to get up. He is
use
hurt.
of hands to the face. Number 78, 10 yards. Repeat 3rd down.
Greg
Well,
Strepanak.
That one is accepted.
Boy, that left arm of Junior Seau is limp almost at his side. 78, Skripanek working against Chris Mims with the hand on the face, and he gets the flag.
Well, that would have brought up a 4th down, would it not, for the Raiders? But the Chargers go ahead and accept the penalty, put them into a 3rd and even longer situation, taking a chance here that they won't get the big yardage.
3rd and 23 from their own 40-yard line. Rathman, and he gets thrown out of bounds up at the 50-yard line. They picked up 10, 4th and 13. Carrington makes the tackle. And there is Junior again, obviously in agony.
See, that left arm is just hanging at his side. He's squeezing his fingers. And again, we have seen evidence again tonight that he has a hard time wrapping his arms, locking him in the tackle. And believe me, that would have been a different effort on the part of Junior Seau if that arm would have been all right.
Jeff Gossett to punt. Line of scrimmage is the 50. Darian Gordon back to receive. Angled line drive kick, and Gordon makes the catch at the 6-yard line and gets away with it. Whoa. Brings it up to the 31.
Is he exciting?
Patrick Bates makes the stop. 45-yard kick, 26-yard run back. 10:41 left in the 3rd. Well, he's very nervous and very excited before the game. Had a nice visit with him. From the 31-yard line, Stan Humphries back in the game. Throws, and it is tipped and nearly picked off. Patrick Bates got a hand on it. 2nd down.
Now we should get a pretty good read on the condition of Stan Humphries' thumb. You could almost be assured that it is very painful unless he went into the locker room and perhaps even shot it up. But that was a little bit of a flyer he delivered right there.
The thing about Humphries, he's one of the more unheralded quarterbacks in the league, but he has had enormous success in staying healthy and guiding this team. We'll illustrate it in the 2nd. 2nd down and 10, and Natron Means goes nowhere. He is tackled by Winston Moss behind the line of scrimmage. You know, you think of the great quarterbacks and how they have done as Mark Say is slow in getting up, and you think of the Montanas and the Youngs and guys like that. Well, Humphries is right up there with them. There they are, active QBs. Steve Young with the best mark. Stan is right there. And then Montana with Kansas City is marked 15 and 8. Kelly and Marino. That's pretty good company.
It was a 6th-round draft pick of Bobby Beathard. That was Bobby Beathard sitting with Alex Spanos a while ago. And Beathard brought him here in 1990, and he's had a good run.
3rd and 11. Humphries guns it, finds the open man. It's Tony Martin. And a 1st down, a 3rd and long up to the 45-yard line.
Beathard, of course, drafted him when Beathard was with the Washington Redskins and sat around and did nothing with the Redskins. And then when Bobby came here, he knew the system that they brought into the Chargers, so they got Bobby Humphries. And in 1992, he had over 3,000 yards throwing the ball here. He's had some good years.
Well, if we were wondering if he had the ability to grip it firmly enough to throw the long ball, that should have answered a question.
Tony Martin, one of the Beathard acquisitions, making the catch. Natron Means gets a yard and a half. The Raiders have done a nice job tonight bottling up Natron Means.
Well, it's not really a surprise. The Raiders play the run better than most teams in the league. They're giving up less than 100 yards a game running the football. Only 92 yards for this proud Raiders defense. And you figured there is Ralph Friedgen, the offensive coordinator of the San Diego Chargers, and his running game is not what he'd like to see tonight, but I don't think they're shocked by that. Tough yards against the Raiders.
Natron Means 10 carries for 17 yards at 2nd and 9, and the catch is made at the 50-yard line by Shannon Mitchell, the rookie tight end out of the University of Georgia, tackled by Winston Moss. It'll be 3rd down and 5.
In the first Raider game this year, won by the Chargers in that comeback, Natron Means only had 52 yards in that game.
It was a comeback, too. The Raiders were down 23-3 going into the final quarter. Came back to lead at 24-23, and the Chargers had to make good on 4th down in the final moments of play to get the field goal to win it.
And it was a limping Stan Humphries that led them on that comeback. He came back in after being hurt.
3rd and 5, and the catch is made by Mark Say. And he works his way down to the 29 and a first down where he's tackled by Albert Lewis.
Bobby Humphrey again. His second comeback effort against the Raiders this year. He's tough. Dislocated that elbow, and that is one of the most painful things you can do. He missed one game. Take a look at Say working underneath one man across the middle, catches a zone, and exploits it down inside the 30.
1st and 10 at the 29-yard line. Fake reverse. Natron Means plows his way down to the 22-yard line. Pickup of 7. Greg Biekert making the stop. 7:05 remaining 3rd quarter. The game tied at 14.
Well, that makes all the difference in the world when you're able to crank off some positive yardage on 1st down running the football. Now the hand is full for the San Diego Chargers here, facing a 2nd and 3 or 4. This is really where you can make something happen offensively.
At the 22-yard line. 2nd and a short 4. Natron Means bangs his way down to the 19-yard line and close to a first down. We widen out. You can see where the chains are. Terry Austin taking a look, and he says he's going to measure.
Primarily out of the backfield.
It is a first down as the Chargers keep advancing at the 19-yard line. 1st and 10. Means is going to throw it, and nobody is there. He had Shannon Mitchell open, and Natron Means couldn't get it to him.
I think we just saw why they don't use this very often.
A little adrenaline rush there by Natron. he neutroned that ball as he threw it only about 10 yards farther than he should have.
That was such an easy 6 points.
That was his first attempt and probably last of the season.
Mitchell comes in motion, which he's been doing all night long. Looks like a lead blocker at the point of attack. There's Mitchell at the top of your screen.
Good fake.
Yep.
Oh, just put it up.
Whoa.
On 2nd and 10. Humphries guns one to the 9. Flag is thrown. Trapp says he trapped it, did Say, but you got a marker down at the 13.
I wonder what their completion percentage was in practice when they run that play with Natron Means showing it to Mitchell. I can only assume he demonstrated a better touch on the football than he did on that play.
He was 0 for 1 was Means last year, and 0 for 1 this season as well.
Number 26 of the defense. 5 yards. First down.
Wow, we would have seen a 3rd and 10.
He meant 29, I believe. Albert Lewis was on the coverage, and they do not have a 26 back there.
Boy, that would have brought up a tough play for the San Diego Chargers. Instead, that'll be an automatic first down.
Raiders making a strong run for a record in penalties.
Chalk up another one. That is 16. Again, the NFL mark is 22, a mark that has stood for 50 years.
Well, how exciting. It's in jeopardy.
Yeah. Only on Monday night.
Yeah, well, and aren't we thrilled to see it?
And they're on their way to a team record. They're one shy of that, and we have 20 minutes of regulation remaining. On first down, it's Means picking up about 3. 5:25 left, 3rd quarter. The game tied at 14.
Bobby Ross pacing the sidelines, and the Chargers taking a lot of time off that clock. This drive started back at their own 31-yard line.
Change up front for San Diego. Joe Cucuzzo, the left guard, is out of the game, and Curtis Whitley, a backup center, is playing that spot at the moment.
Here's Whitley. There was one scenario. They had so much trouble with their H-backs and tight ends that they might have to use him there.
2nd and 7 from the 11. Humphries pressured, slips to his left, flag thrown, pass incomplete, intended for Jefferson. recovered by Anderson. And Harry Swain is hurt. He's been shaken up most of the night, and he's bent over and might be the recipient of the holding call as well, number 72.
If I had to guess, I'd say you're right. How many more bars can you get on that face mask?
Yeah.
Holding number 72 of the defense. 10 yards. Repeat, second down.
If he got any more bars on that thing, he wouldn't be able to see through it. I don't think I've ever seen a face mask quite that heavily decorated. There it is, moving into our picture. Chester McLaughlin, the defensive lineman for the Raiders, is working on Swain, and he forces that hold.
It's second down and 17. This is the 11th play of the drive, 4:45 left in the third. On second and 17, it's Means on a draw. He lost the football at the 20-yard line. Wait for the official to signal, and the Raiders have the football. So the long drive ends in futility.
Oh, does that hurt? And does that give a lift to the Raiders?
Anthony Smith was there. McLaughlin was there making the initial tackle. Eddie Anderson is the guy that comes out of it with the football. Anthony Smith, he comes in from the outside. He's the one that forced the fumble. Or not, and I still couldn't see it.
I wonder if Terry Bradshaw and Franco Harris get residuals. How many times have we looked at that play over the years?
Now we're looking at Junior Seau here. He's back in the game as the Raiders, after the fumble recovery, have the football at the 20-yard line. 4:38 left, third quarter. The game tied at 14. Cost shouting to be heard. Play clock is down to 3. And they begin this drive with a Harvey Williams off tackle for 2. Junior Seau right there to stop him. Second and 8.
Tackle by Junior Seau.
Well, Junior Seau is toughing it out. This is a definite case of why some guys are stars and earn the big bucks. Hurting doesn't make a difference, and that is this bad arm, and he's still forced to make the tackle. And let me tell you something, when you have to do something with something that hurts,
look at him yell for the crowd.
yeah.
That could mean a blitz for the Chargers.
Second and 7. Gain of 3 up at the 23. Flag. Incomplete. Brown, the intended receiver. Seau providing the coverage that time. Got a hand on it. And there are 2 flags now.
On the field.
If it's against the Raiders, that'll be 17. It also could be
Offsides. Number
declined.
98 lined up in the neutral zone. 5 yards. Repeat, second down.
Well, Skrepenak is hurt. The penalty is against Sean Lee for lining up in the neutral zone, and Art Shell comes out to check firsthand the condition of Greg Skrepenak. Injury timeout.
He has a very sore hip and back. His teammate Kevin Gogan landed right on top of him. We'll take a look at this thing right here. Skrepenak finds himself in an awkward position blocking Mims, 94. There's Gogan to the right. He comes out to block Mims. Watch him land right there on top of Skrepenak.
Gogan is programmed at 310 pounds.
And Skrepenak prone on the field, had an exposed flank, and Gogan landed right on it.
Escorted off by Evans and Ismail. And his spot is taken by the longtime former Ram, Robert Jenkins. There's Jenkins, number 64. It is second down and 2 after the penalty on San Diego. Game tied at 14. Haas buys time. Shoots one over the middle. The catch is made up at the 40-yard line. Hostetler hurt. Brown and made the catch. 13-yard pickup.
Oh, look at
Ooh,
Jeff.
look at Hostetler.
He's going after Jerry Austin, the referee, obviously thinking that he should have thrown a flag.
Leslie O'Neal coming around
First down Raiders at the
Robert
41.
Jenkins and gave Hostetler quite a shot in the back. Here comes number 91, sensing he's got an easy prey, and Robert Jenkins turns it on, and he really nails Hostetler.
Yeah, he gets sandwiched between Jenkins, Mims, and O'Neal.
On first down, Harvey Williams breaks a couple of tackles in the backfield and turns a 2-yard loss into a 2.5-yard gain tackle by Darian Gordon.
Williams on number 21, and Darian Gordon.
Strepanek getting the attention.
They are rubbing away, trying to work the knots out. Gogan actually, when he landed on him, did him a favor because he kept Mims from getting a good shot on Hostetler. It was a good hustling play by Gogan. Just unfortunate that he landed on Strepanek.
2nd and 8 at the 43-yard line. The game tied at 14, late 3rd quarter. Haas gets the first down. He's out of bounds at the 46-yard line. He was sprung by a Tim Brown block. There's Napoleon McCallum and Civvies on the sideline, and Junior Seau visiting as well.
Hostetler's still hot from that last play. Junior Seau just barely touched him as he went out, and Hostetler threw the ball at him.
But what starts it all is, again, Hostetler's pocket just evaporates around him. He's all the way out here because he has no choice. And Junior Seau just brushed him in the back.
Get it together, Jeff.
Jeff's a little...
He's so frustrated, is what it is.
Fuse getting a little short. Seau did absolutely nothing.
And I like Seau's reaction to Hostetler. He did nothing.
Well, if Hostetler should be upset with anybody right now, it should be his line. He's running for his life.
1st and 10 at the 46-yard line. Fake. Toss comes out to Wes Bender, backup fullback.
Boy, and Hostetler got
40-yard line, and Haas shaken again.
This time Mims just unloaded on him as he released the ball.
Well, Mims discards Robert Jenkins, who's having to sub for Strepanek at right. Watch this throw right there in the middle of your screen. Whoa, goodbye, Mr. Jenkins.
You think they're not rubbing on Strepanek?
This is some front floor for the San Diego Chargers, and they are having open season on Jeff Hostetler.
2nd and 3 at the 39-yard line. Calvin Jones is in there, and the rookie from Nebraska picks up the first down as he's tackled by Mims, and the Raiders keep marching with the game tied and 1:08 to go in the 3rd.
This might be a good time for the Raiders to make an attempt to establish some semblance of a running game.
Certainly for the health of Jeff Hostetler.
For no other reason than that.
1st and 10, Los Angeles at the San Diego 34.
And Harvey Williams continues to sit this out.
Jones, the running back, he stays in the block, and it's dropped in the hands of James Jett and out of the hands of James Jett. 2nd down.
That is a simple case of James Jett was thinking about running the football before he caught it. He's got pretty good hands. Youngster out of West Virginia, great speed. We know about that. You have to respect that. So he drives downfield. Just, I'm going to run with it before I get it. Look it all the way in. You see the frustration on his face.
2nd and 10 at the 34. Excellent protection, but the secondary does its job, and Haas just flings it away. 3rd down. Well, the Raiders are going to go into the 4th quarter in a very tight game, in a critical game, and we mentioned at the very beginning tonight, in crunch time, they have not come up big. They've been outscored in the 4th quarter of the season 98-49.
Well, their starting backfield checks back in. Tom Rathman and Harvey Williams, both of them good receivers in what is a passing situation, you would think, for the Raiders here on 3rd and 10. Both of these guys good out of the backfield.
They'll have Tim Brown on the move, trying to get him into single coverage, too.
On 3rd and 10. Hostetler flings one over the middle. The catch is made, but short of the first down. Ismael makes the catch. It's an 8-yard gain. It takes it to the 26-yard line, and it's going to be 4th down and 2 when the 4th quarter begins, because that will do it for period number 3.
Was well within field goal range to untie this.
So we played 45 minutes. The game is tied at 14, and we'll return with the fourth quarter of Monday Night Football after this word from our ABC station. A 43-yard field goal attempt by Jeff Jager.
The Raiders could have stopped the clock and tried a field goal from the other end, but it is absolutely a perfectly still night here in San Diego. No wind whatsoever, so either end, it doesn't make a difference.
43 yards. Jeff Gossett to hold it. Jeff Jager to try to boot it through. Right down the middle. And the Raiders are back on top again.
44-yard field goal try is good by Jeff Jager.
5 seconds into the fourth quarter. LA by 3 as they cash in on a San Diego fumble. 3-point advantage. Andre Coleman, the rookie from Kansas State, drops back to receive the catch. Coleman pulls it in at the 8-yard line. Up past the 20, up past the 30-yard line, and Coleman can't be taken down from behind at the 50, gets all the way to the 24-yard line. Dan Land finally catches him.
Land saved it, his third-round draft pick. Andre Coleman out of Kansas State broke it big. Well, Dan Land, who got his share of publicity in the first half, comes up big here for the Raiders. That was a sure touchdown. Andre Coleman had only Land to beat. Look at the good blocking by the wedge.
Good acceleration there.
Usually the Chargers are watching other teams run them back against them. This is a big-time effort by Andre Coleman, the rookie from Kansas State.
68-yard kickoff return for a man averaging 26 yards per return. Very good. Natron Means gets taken down by McDaniel after he picks up a first down at the 13-yard line. Coleman accepting adulation on the sideline, and Means behind a Curtis Whitley blocked first down.
Means has been bottled up most of the night, and he just unleashed all his frustrations here. He knocked his own man out of it. Well, he got Tony Martin first and then slamming into the Raiders.
And he got a couple key blocks by Curtis Whitley and Shannon Mitchell that got him started.
High formation this time. First and 10 at the 13. Out of the eye. Means swings to the outside. He gets strung out and taken down. Nice defensive play. Anthony Smith right there to haul him down for a loss of 2.
If you can make Natron Means change directions, if you can make him try to bounce it to the outside, you have really done 90% of the job of bottling him up. And that's exactly what had to happen there. He is a bulldozer, a power back, and if you can clog the initial point of attack, you're really helping yourself out a lot.
The nemesis for the Raiders for so many years is in there, Ronnie Harmon.
2nd and 12. Humphreys has time. He throws. The catch is made at the 6 by Mark Say, and he's bounced back from that spot by Albert Lewis. It'll be 3rd down and 2. Make it 3.
Okay.
All right. Critical down here in the red zone.
Plenty of time for Humphreys as they protect him so well.
Speaking of the red zone, San Diego trouble converting, only 40% getting into the end zone. Only Cincinnati is worse.
That's why John Carney has so many field goals.
Yes, 29. On 3rd and 3, Humphreys throws. Say was the intended receiver, but Stan was forced because Mike Jones came blitzing through the linebacker to throw earlier than he wanted.
Well, John Fox, the defensive coordinator of the Raiders, comes with the blitz, and boy, it paid off big. Paid off real big. That play had no chance of happening.
John Carney has 2 points tonight, and he seeks his 30th field goal of the season. He'll also take the NFL lead in scoring away from Emmitt Smith if he converts here.
Pretty good, too. If he makes this, he'll be, what, 30 out of 33.
24-yard attempt to tie the game. And he bangs it through, and so the Andre Coleman kickoff return sets up a field goal. The cannon sound, 12:34 left in regulation, 17-17. 12:34 left in regulation. Great crowd in San Diego tonight. Carney sends it down to the 5-yard line. It is taken there by Rocket Ismail. And they turn him into a prop job as he only gets it back to the 19. Leading the charge for San Diego is Eric Bieniemy. 12:25 left in the fourth.
Fan having a refreshment of his choice.
Raiders have it at their own 19-yard line, 1st and 10. 12:25 left in the fourth quarter. The game is tied at 17. Hostetler buying time, throwing, catch made. Tim Brown out past the 40 to midfield, tackled at the 49, flag down. Darian Gordon stopped him.
Could that have been a face mask?
That's the first thing that crosses your mind when you see
open field like that.
Yeah.
31-yard gain, and you saw the flag come in at the end.
Face mask on the tackle by the tackler. 5 yards. Tacked on from the end of the run. First down.
Gordon.
I think that's only the 3rd reception of the night for Tim Brown.
And a good look at what
Hostetler,
and a good look at what Hostetler can do when he gets some time. The offensive line that time did a good job, and there is right there. It's the right hand of Darian Gordon on the face mask of Tim Brown.
And along that line, Skrepanak is back in, and Dan Turk is the center with Mosbar out. Harvey Williams on a pretty ugly-looking handoff takes it to the 43.
Well, Turk had to fill in for Mosbar last week in the Pittsburgh game when the ankle brought him out.
We go to Miami next week. It's our only look on
It wasn't bad yesterday.
Yeah.
Well over 300 yards against Denver.
2nd and 8 from the 43. Haas throws. Brown makes the catch. Nice slip move to pick up the first down and a lot more. Now he goes into 27.
Oh, what a weapon he is.
He is up and over 1,000 yards receiving now this season. And Tom Walsh, the offensive coordinator, has gotten the ball into Brown's hands 5 times tonight.
He's averaging just under 15 yards of reception, and so many of the receptions are like this one. Short underneath, 4 or 5 yards, that he turns into a big gainer just by his running ability.
Tim Brown, that NFL record, 20 guys over 1,000 in any given season, is in peril. Short count. Handoff for a 2-yard gain goes to Harvey Williams.
Well, you tighten up the rules on defensive backs. It's really not much of a surprise that receivers are going to be running around all over the place. Not a surprise at all. Playing corner in this league was always tough. It's a whole lot tougher here in 1994.
Just calling the old rule is having a tremendous impact on this game. And well, next year when they start drafting receivers, they're going to be the big ones.
2nd and 8 at the 25. Haas dumps it underneath. The catch is made by Wes Bender. He is rolled down 1.5 yards shy of the first down by Darren Carrington. It'll be 3rd and a long one. Wes Bender, a backup running back, first-year player out of USC, has caught his first 2 balls of the season tonight.
Yeah, that was a fine tackle in the open field by Carrington. Bender was on his way to at least a first down, and a good tackle by number 29, Darren Carrington.
3rd and a long one. Calvin Jones and Tom Rathman in the backfield, and it's Jones picking up the first down. The rookie takes it to the 15-yard line. 1st and 10. 9:20 remaining in the fourth quarter. The game tied at 17.
Seau again playing through a very painful pinched nerve, and playing through it. That's exactly what he's doing. Again, a missed tackle, but you have to understand, a lot of football players that probably would not be in there. And who knows, maybe he shouldn't be.
First down at the 15-yard line. Jones and Bender in the backfield. Hostetler hits Brown. And Tim goes down at the 7-yard line.
Well, the first guy hasn't got Tim Brown to the ground so far this half. David Griggs was the first guy to miss, then another guy missed, and Bill Arnsparger has got to be wondering, what do I have to do to get these guys to get Tim Brown down? Quick move back to the inside. There goes Griggs. There goes Seau. Finally to the ground, but boy, good moves by Timmy Brown.
Brown gets the blow on the sideline, 2nd down and 2. And Jones can only pick up one of those two. He's tackled by Gibson, setting up a critical 3rd and 1 at the 6-yard line.
Calvin Jones, ball carrier.
Tim Brown, well, you think about this, Denver made a tremendous offer to try to procure Brown. The Raiders had the right to match, and they matched. And that meant the Broncos then set their sights on Anthony Miller, the great San Diego receiver, and that's why Miller is with Denver right now.
Miller had 89 receptions here a year ago. They not only lost Miller, the leading receiver, they lost their leading rusher in Marion Butts.
3rd and a long one. And Haas puts it in the end zone, and a great catch with a touchdown by Ismail.
Oh, what a great catch it was, too, Al.
Yeah, he may have bruised palms in handling that ball. What a rocket shot by Jeff Hostetler. That redefines putting zip on the ball.
Well, if we get a close-up of him catching that ball, too, he did it in the classic way. He didn't reverse his hands like most receivers would. Kept the right hand above the left hand. Such a temptation to put that left hand up first, and he didn't. And he hangs on. Good concentration and a good effort by Ismail.
Got position on Gordon to make the catch. Jaeger to tack on the extra point. And Los Angeles is back up again by 7. So Brown helps lead them down there. The Rocket makes it pay off. 7:23 remaining in regulation as the Raiders now lead it by a score of 24-17. San Diego Stadium in the heart of Mission Valley. The kickoff from Jaeger comes down to the 7-yard line. Andre Coleman, who had a 68-yard return the last time he touched the football, brings this one back to the 27, and he is tackled there by Dan Land. Jeff Hostetler to Rocket Ismail for the 2nd time tonight. The two link up for a score, 24-17 LA. The Raiders in a crucial game have had the lead 4 times tonight. This is the 4th. They led 7-0, 14-7, 17-14, and now 24-17. Chargers have it 1st and 10 at their own 27-yard line. 7:10 to go in the 4th quarter. And the catch is made by Shannon Mitchell, the rookie tight end, who's driven out of bounds by Greg Biekert. 1st down at the 40.
Well, the Chargers are getting a lot of football from a free agent in this year's draft, Shannon Mitchell from Georgia. This guy has obviously not a guy they counted on to get a lot out of this year, and he has been forced to play because of the injuries to Papuno and Young. And man, has he come through.
He moves well.
He sure does.
There he is, big man.
In motion is Mitchell. Fake it to Means. Humphrey's going for goal. Got Jefferson out in front and overthrows him. Terry McDaniel started to catch up with him, but he had position and was there, and the ball was too deep.
Humphreys loves to do this every now and then, just let it fly. And as you can see, he was there. Terry McDaniel.
Maybe his next slide.
He was going for an earlier move, and Jefferson was open.
That was 57 yards in the air on the throw.
Yeah, unfortunately, though, it only needed to be about 52.
It was pretty, though. Spiral nice.
Natron Means stopped for no gain. It's going to be 3rd and 10.
That probably removed all question about Stan Humphrey's thumb, however.
3rd and 10 at the 40. 6:23 remaining, 4th quarter. Say in motion. trailed by Albert Lewis. Humphreys under pressure. Fires. Say can't make the catch. It's incomplete. Flag down.
Oh, I think Humphreys took a shot in the head.
Anthony Smith was there with him.
Personal foul. Number 94. Shot to the head. First down.
That's a killer. Instead of 4th and 10, first down.
Boy, you just can't live with them.
Boy, you get everything you ask for from your front four. You harass the quarterback, you make him move, you make him throw off balance. And that right forearm of Anthony Smith lands on the face mask of Stan Humphreys, and that draws the call. Certainly didn't appear to be any sort of an attempt to injure Humphreys,
but it's so clearly defined, and you're going to get a flag every time you do it.
What you say, Dan, though, was confirmed by Shell. Shell looked at the replay, and that's when he started barking at the official. Here's Natron Means, chased by Fredrickson, and Lewis drives him out of bounds after a gain of 8. And you saw the earlier graphic with a flag down here that the Raiders have tied their team record for most penalties in the game.
Number 72 of the offense. 10 yards, repeat first down.
And this one is against Harry Swain of San Diego. 5 horizontal bars on that mask. Well, that is when you want to cover up and hide. When
that mask has really got to Dan.
and a whole bunch of verticals, too.
Yes. Oh, yeah, 5 in a row and then 2 at the bottom. 7. And then I guess there's 1 on the top there.
He looks like he's into fencing or something.
He's looking out of a couple peepholes, about all he's left.
That's a tough call there from the Chargers.
Makes it 1st and 20 at the 45-yard line. Humphreys avoids the sack, and that's a big avoidance. It's incomplete, but he would have been tackled back at the 28. That would have been a 12-yard sack. Instead, it's incomplete. It would have been 2nd and 32. Instead, it'll be 2nd and 20.
That would have been a 17-yard sack, I think, all the way back where he was. That was, and Anthony Smith had it. Anthony Smith had him. That's amazing that Humphreys got out of this. There's Anthony Smith, who has his jersey, and just loses his grip at the last moment.
And almost got it in.
Stan Humphreys, though, a pretty stocky guy at 225 pounds, showed some strength.
2nd and 20. Jefferson can't make the catch. It'll be 3rd and 20.
Yeah, that's one where maybe Humphreys' thumb bothered him there. He grabbed it right after he threw the ball. Jefferson very open. You can almost see the pain on his face. And one could have been caught by Jefferson, but he did throw it low and in front of him.
Still should have caught that one, you think?
Chargers are faced now with a 3rd and 20. Four-man rush. Humphreys throws, and it's incomplete. Hit as he threw it. Alberto White got an arm on him, and it'll be 4th down and 20 and a punt.
And a very rare smile from Art Shell. Not very demonstrative on the sideline. And take a picture of that one, folks. You don't see it all that often.
5:22 remaining in the 4th quarter now. This has not been the Raiders' quarter on either side of the ball all season long.
And you know what? That was very close to being a fumble. Stan's arm hadn't started forward when it was hit by White.
Brian Wagner to punt. Tim Brown falls for and makes a fair catch at the 13-yard line. Raiders will try to use some clock when we come back. 5:14 remaining. LA by 7. And we're back. No matter what happens in this game, gents, 13 teams, or almost half the league, will be either 6-7 or 7-6, and 25 teams are still eligible for the playoffs with 3 weeks to go. Just
the most ever.
Wanted.
The most ever, isn't it?
Yep.
And what more can you ask for in the month of December?
Yeah.
As far as fan interest is concerned, it's really what the league was looking for, and it keeps people into it all around the country. I think it's a good deal.
Only Tampa Bay, Cincinnati, and Houston are guaranteed they'll be home to watch the playoffs on television. The Raiders trying to eat up some clock as Harvey Williams picks up a yard. Actually, Tampa Bay, believe it or not, is still alive. The other team is Washington. The Redskins are one of the three, and the Buccaneers are still alive.
That's how quickly we got a call from Sam Weiss.
We're talking about mathematically alive.
Yes, mathematically alive.
The Raiders, their sense of urgency tonight, I mean, you can feel it up in the booth.
And for a team
6 and 7, they feel they're out of it.
And for a team that has been struggling to find a running game, boy, could the Raiders use one now.
2nd and 9. Haas using as much of the play clock as he can. And now back to pass. Throws. Tim Brown having a big night up to the 18-yard line. It's going to set up a 3rd down and 5. And this is a very critical play for the San Diego defense right here.
Tim Brown is the best part of the running game. Throw him the 4 or 5 yard hitch or little short slant over the middle, and then let him run after he catches the football.
I want to toss a kudo out to our crew tonight. They have been brilliant.
Fabulous.
The pictures tonight have been superior. Ladies and gentlemen, thanks.
It is 3rd and 5 now. A vital play. The Chargers will have to stop them here or be forced to use some timeouts. And Hostetler throws. Williams makes the catch. He's a bumper car, and down he goes at the 20-yard line. Sean Van Horst stops him. They'll get the ball back, and they conserve all of their timeouts to the Chargers.
Good defensive effort. They needed that. Now they need an extraordinary effort by Darian Gordon, who's becoming quite a hero here in San Diego. Punt return for a touchdown in the Raider game, the first game of 90 yards.
Then a 75-yarder last week in their game against the Rams.
Jeff Gossett. It's a low liner. It's a 36-yard kick and a fumble and a recovery by Gordon. He holds on at the 44. It's starting to drizzle, a light drizzle, with 3 minutes even remaining and a lot of time, as you see the drizzle reflected there. 3 minutes and 3 timeouts plus the 2-minute warning, so a ton of time.
Gordon, I think when you get a low kick like that, every punt returner knows those are the kinds you can run right down their throat. They don't have a chance to cover it. And I think he just got a little bit ahead of himself, didn't concentrate, bobbled the ball, but pulled it together, made the recovery, and the Chargers are in good field position.
From the 44-yard line, Humphries goes to work. He drops it off underneath from Natron Means. He gets out to the 50-yard line. That's a gain of 6. Fredrickson makes the tackle. 2nd down and 4.
And the Chargers being pretty nonchalant in the way they're executing this thing, going back to the huddle. I know they've got all 3 timeouts, but they sure don't look like a group in a real big hurry. A little more urgency here, I think, might be in order.
2nd and 4.
They need a touchdown, not 3, and then the 2-point rule might even have to come into consideration.
They took 31 seconds between plays, and Means goes nowhere. So that's a wasted half minute.
And this crowd,
no game.
And this crowd knows what's going on. They'll go down to the 2-minute warning here. But a lot of time got burned off that clock.
And a very big play coming up here.
Yeah.
3rd and a long 3 when we come back from the 2-minute warning. Raiders 24, Chargers 17. This weekend, great golf coverage this weekend right here on ABC. 2 minutes to go. The LA Raiders on top, 24-17. Bobby Ross's team is faced with a 3rd and a long 3 at the Raider 49-yard line.
It's a 2-down situation. I don't think there's any question about that. If they don't get a 3rd down, they're going to go on 4th down. And they need 7 points to tie it. 8 points can win it.
Ronnie Harmon in motion. Humphries pressured. Flings one too high, incomplete, intended for Mark Say. 4th down and 3.
And Stan shaking his head, and I think maybe the thumb might have factored into that pass. Well, he was buffeted around with good pressure from the Raiders, but that was a poorly thrown ball.
Well, he's having to backpedal his way out of that pocket. That was good pressure by the Raiders. They came that time with just their 4 down linemen. It's a big plus when you can get a rush out of just 4.
4th and 3 at the 49-yard line. Humphreys on a vital play. It's incomplete. Good coverage. Pass high. Say the intended receiver. James Trapp is right there. Raiders will get it, and the Chargers still have all 3 timeouts, so they will be able to stop the clock. But the best thing they can hope for now is field position that's not going to be very good.
I think it's a gutsy effort by Stan Humphreys. 2 flyers in a row. He's too good a passer to have this thing happen like that. I think the thumb has got to be a major consideration of the way he's throwing the ball here in the second half, shaking his head.
So here comes Hostetler. They'll use up what they can on the ground, and the Chargers will take all 3 timeouts here and then hope to block a punt. 24-17 Raiders. The ball at the 50-yard line with 1:50 to go in regulation. Glover in motion. Harvey Williams, stop for no gain, timeout San Diego.
Ever there was a time to run the football with both hands, both arms, everything you have wrapped around the football, now is the time for the Raiders to do so.
Well, and you know, Dan, they're discussing that in each huddle.
No penalties, because you don't want to stop the clock on your own. As hard as that is to imagine the Raiders not having a penalty in this situation, but no penalties to stop the clock. You don't put the ball on the ground.
The Raiders do prevail. They'll have Denver coming up, and then they'll travel to Seattle and then Kansas City. So they got a couple of the people that they're tied with still on their schedule.
Well, if by chance, if the Raiders do win this game, it's not inconceivable that they could run the table. They've got Denver at home, then they travel to Seattle, then back home on a Saturday game against Kansas City. This is a Raider team with all the talent that they have. A 10-6 season is certainly more than just an outside chance for this very talented football team.
The season that began with that dreadful injury to Napoleon McCallum, who watches from the sideline now. Going to be a lot tougher for San Diego to run the table. 49ers next week, then at the Jets, and then Pittsburgh here. 2nd and 9. Williams swings to the outside, and San Diego takes another timeout here. With 1:39, it'll be 3rd down and 10 at the 50-yard line.
And Seau is just struggling to get up. Here is a guy who is in bad shape. Won't quit.
Nope.
The only drawback to this game was all the penalties against the Raiders. That's sloppy. But talk about a team that came up to playing with a sense of urgency. Tonight it was the Los Angeles Raiders. My head's not really that big, is it?
Another team. We're not going to tell you it is.
3rd down and 10 at the 50-yard line.
No wonder I can't get baseball hats for sale.
And Hostetler on a little roll, and then he goes down, and the Chargers take a timeout. Well, that's as much as San Diego could hope for. Raiders could only use up about 20 seconds.
And you eliminate that play eliminates any possibility to fumble, and they're close to midfield. It's not going to affect them on the punt. It was a good call.
Well, the Raiders just need a good snap and Gossett to get it away now.
Yeah, but unfortunately the guy that's back there is going to be Darian Gordon.
There he is.
This guy
will not be lost on the Raiders, I don't think.
I can only assume that Gossett's going to try to kick this thing out of bounds.
He might kick this sideways.
Yeah.
The other beneficiary of a Raider win tonight would be the Pittsburgh Steelers, because the Steelers would then be in the position to control their own fate and have home field advantage through the playoffs. At the moment, that belongs to San Diego, where they too have won every game the rest of the way.
I'll tell you, the Steelers have done a great job this year. They might be playing, I think they probably are playing the best football in the AFC, certainly. They are a dominating, tough football team.
Well, you look at the things you need to win. Play great defense, have a good running game, and good special teams. They don't have a thrilling passing game, that's for sure. But on those first 3 counts, they are solid.
Humphries awaiting his turn. Dan Turk to snap it. And it's an angle kick. It's a beauty. My gosh, it's out of bounds at the 8-yard line.
Got it. All he could get and avoided the run back.
Yep. That's the best punt that Jeff Gossett has made in a long time.
And the first to greet him in that fraternity of kickers was Jeff Jager.
And what a terrible spot for Stan Humphries. 1:28 on the clock, no timeouts remaining, and inside his own 10-yard line.
So it's as simple as going 92 yards in 88 seconds with nary a timeout. First and 10 at the 8. Humphries throws a little too high for Ronnie Harmon. Covered on the play by Rob Fredrickson. Second down.
Boy, a lot of confidence in the Raiders in this rookie, Fredrickson. I think that's indicative of what they think of him to, in a critical situation like this, let a rookie go one-on-one with Ronnie Harmon. This guy here not only justifies a #1 draft pick, but he's going to be a good one in this league for a long time.
Second and 10 at the 8. Harmon. He's out of bounds a little short of the first down. Stops the clock, but they'll have to convert. It's 3rd down and 1, and it starts to come down. It rained this morning. The streets were wet when we got up. Cleared up during the day, and here it comes again, lightly. 3rd and 1.
Well, it's really a running down. Unfortunately, that burns up an awful lot of time.
To the air he goes, and it is caught by Jefferson, and he gets it out to the 39-yard line. First down, tackled by Patrick Bates, and now they're 61 yards away. 23-yard pickup on a 3rd and 1. Raiders taking a lot of time to get to their side of the line. Humphries to the air again. Floats one. Harmon makes the catch, tries to get out of bounds, and can. He's to the 48, but that's a first down. Fredrickson makes the tackle. Clock ticking down, 45, 44. Humphries has to think about putting it in the ground, and does right here. So 37 seconds and second down at the 48-yard line.
Pretty nice job by Rob Fredrickson of keeping Ronnie Harmon in bounds. I think Carl Mock right there was telling the officials that he thought Ronnie Harmon was out of bounds and should have stopped the clock.
The executive producer of the 8-yard line, Humphries. The flag is thrown, and the catch is not made. Harmon dropped it. Incomplete. Flag down at the 43-yard line. Stan Brock holding San Diego.
I think Alberto White was the guy that was working, and Stan Brock, talk about out in the middle of nowhere where everybody in the stadium could see what was happening, gets locked up with White. There he is right there. White's 96, Brock, but look at this. Talk about separating yourself from the crowd.
Well, you understand that, though, Dan. That quarterback rolls out of the pocket, and all of a sudden the pressure is off you, and you have to grab.
We have 2 fouls on the offense. Number 33 went out of bounds and came back in and was the first to touch. That penalty is declined. Holding. Number 67 of the offense. That penalty is accepted. 10 yards. Repeat, second down.
Well, the other thing, Stan Brock doesn't have any idea where Stan Humphries is. His face is buried in the chest of Alberto White.
And the rest of our gang, Ed McKenna, Jim Licata, Mike Farrell, Fred King, and Brian Gordon, Steve Hurd, our unparalleled director of information. Second down and 20 now at the 42-yard line. Humphries throws. Harmon makes the catch. He's kept in bounds by Albert Lewis. It'll be 3rd down and 15.
Big play there by Lewis. Harmon obviously was thinking out of bounds.
And on 3rd and 15, Humphreys retreats. Humphreys going deep. And too deep, and it is taken down by Donald Frank. Incomplete. 4th down. So one more Hail Mary, and that'll do it. And our gang up here in the booth, Andrea Bryant, keeping us sane.
Is that what it is?
Yep. So to speak. George Hill, our statistician, and Malibu Kelly Hayes, our spotter, through the years and years.
A lot of superlatives tonight.
Oh, yeah. Well, the Raiders have done tonight a couple of things they haven't done all year. That long passing game worked brilliantly, and in the 4th quarter, they rose to the occasion. Barring a penalty, final play of the game, and down goes Humphreys. Aaron Wallace puts the exclamation point on a victory in a game the Raiders had to have.
And Dan, you could be right. They could run the table.
They could. This is the kind of thing that can get a team started.
To
Big
exhibit
win.
that,
Yep.
you'll have to exhibit the consistency that's been lacking through this season.
And they have Denver and Kansas City at home and Seattle away.
But this was not mathematically, but in every other way, do or die for the Raiders. And they